please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Slapped out and he scored! And we're live.
Hey everybody. So as most of you probably know, the first round of the NHL Draft took place last night. It was a really fun night. We saw some interesting picks. We saw a lot of expected picks as well. Basically, in this video, what I'm going to do is recap the first round of the NHL Draft and talk about which players went where and at what position. But before we begin, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you are new and give this video a thumbs up. Both of those things help out a lot. I cover the entire NHL, and it would be greatly appreciated. But let's switch over and take a look at the draft board here. And this is what things looked like last night. Obviously, the New York Rangers had the first overall pick. They took Alexis Lafreniere as everyone expected. No real surprise there. Quinton Byfield went number 2 to the LA Kings. Tim Stützle went number 3 to the Ottawa Senators. So no real surprises in the top 3 there. There was a little question about whether Stützle or Byfield would go at 2 and which one would go at 3. But it ends up being Byfield, Stützle at 2-3, and that's pretty much expected. At number 4, Detroit went with Lucas Raymond, and this wasn't a huge surprise. I thought there was a chance they could go Drysdale. I thought there was a chance they could go Marco Rossi, but they decided to go with Lucas Raymond, left winger, at number 4. Then we got our first kind of pretty decent surprise of the night, and that was at number 5. The Ottawa Senators took Jake Sanderson ahead of Jamie Drysdale, both defensemen, at number 5 there. And Drysdale was highly expected to be the first defenseman taken in this draft. They decided to go with the more of a two-way type player in Jake Sanderson. And Ottawa kind of surprised a lot of people there. Then Jamie Drysdale goes to Anaheim at number 6, so he goes one pick later. So a little bit of a surprise there. Drysdale, more of an offensive defenseman. Definitely some defensive questions in his game. And Ottawa was more comfortable going with the two-way player, where Anaheim gets the offensive D-man at number 6. At number 7, the Devils took Alexander Holtz, right winger. Obviously, goal scoring is at a premium in the NHL, and that is not surprising, especially given the fact that they're pretty well set down the middle. I thought they could go, the defense is another issue for the Devils, but with Sanderson and Drysdale off the board, this became an easy pick for New Jersey, and they go with a scoring right winger. Buffalo also takes a scoring right winger, Jack Quinn, at number 8. Not surprising there. They need offense any way they can get it. Minnesota with a great pick. Marco Rossi, the center, falls into their lap at number 9. And that's just, Minnesota desperately needed a center, and they get Marco Rossi. I think that's a fantastic pick for them at number 9. At number 10, we have the Winnipeg Jets taking Cole Perfetti, who fell quite a bit in this draft. A lot of people thought he was going to go at number 6, number 7, around there. He drops all the way to number 10, goes to the Winnipeg Jets. He's a good forward. Again, I think the Jets were a team that could have used defense, but with Sanderson and Drysdale both off the board, there was no one else that was going to go in the top 10 as far as a defenseman goes. So they have to take Perfetti, which, that's not a bad thing. Playmaking forward with a lot of offensive upside, can play center or wing, which I think is a really good versatile player for Winnipeg that they're going to like a lot. At number 11, the Nashville Predators take Yaroslav Askarov, the only goaltender to go in the first round. Maybe slightly surprising there, but with Pekka Rinne coming to an end as far as his career is concerned, and being, 37, 38 years old next season, Askarov is not a bad pick there for Nashville, and he could potentially be a franchise goalie of the future. At number 12, the Florida Panthers took Anton Lindell, defensive-minded center. There's been some questions about whether Lindell's offensive game would develop at the NHL level. But at worst, I see him becoming a Mikko Koivu type player, and at best, I could see him becoming an Alexander Barkov type player, and he gets to play with Alexander Barkov in Florida. I think this is going to be a solid pick for Florida, and having Barkov there is going to help out Lindell a lot. And I'm excited to see where that goes. Anything that helps Florida defensively is a plus for the Florida Panthers, and adding a great defensive forward like Lindell definitely helps him out defensively. Seth Jarvis goes at number 13 to the Carolina Hurricanes. I think the Hurricanes would have liked to have grabbed Askarov, but he obviously was not still on the board there after going at number 11. So they take a center in Seth Jarvis with a lot of offensive upside and playmaking ability. Center's a position that they certainly needed to add at. Defense, they're fine. Wings, they're pretty good. I think center was definitely a spot where they needed to add to organizational depth there. So Carolina takes Jarvis. That leaves Edmonton, who I think would have taken Jarvis. He was still on the board, to take Dylan Holloway at number 14. He is also a center and can also play wing, much like Cole Perfetti. And another guy with, a lot of offensive upside. Toronto goes a little bit surprising here with Rodion Amirov, the left winger, to the Maple Leafs at number 15. I thought they were going to go D with that pick. They did not go D with that pick. They went with Amirov and bring in another scoring winger. Montreal goes D, taking Caden Gooley at number 16 to the Montreal Canadiens. I thought Toronto might go with Gooley at 15, but they decide not to, which leaves him on the board for the Canadiens at 16, and they take him, adding to their defense core for the future. At number 17, the Chicago Blackhawks take Lucas Reichel, scoring left winger out of Germany. So a solid pick there for Chicago, who again needed help pretty much everywhere. At 18, the New Jersey Devils, who with their second first-round pick, take Dawson Mercer, a center/right wing, who really will add to that team's forward group. Again, I thought Devils might go defense there, but they decided to go with Dawson Mercer. And that leaves number 19, which originally belonged to the Calgary Flames, but they traded back, gave it up to the New York Rangers, who they take Braden Schneider, defenseman out of the WHL, at number 19. This was a fantastic pick for New York. I'm a big fan of Braden Schneider. I think New Jersey wanted to take him, but they wanted to wait till 20th overall to do it. And Schneider obviously was not there at 20th overall after the Rangers traded up for him. At number 20, the New Jersey Devils, who had their third first-round pick of this year's draft after all the trades that they made, went kind of off the board for a defenseman here. Off the board for Shakir Mukhamadullin, defenseman that a lot of people did not have going in the first round and was probably going to be a second-round pick. They decided to take him at number 20. So a little bit of a surprising pick there from New Jersey, taking him ahead of Justin Barron, ahead of William Wallander, and some other D-men that Jeremy Poirier as well, other D-men that were ranked ahead of Mukhamadullin. But that's who they decided to go with. In New Jersey went off the board, and at number 21, Columbus said, you can go off the board. Guess what? We can go off the board too. And they took right wing Yegor Chinakov, who I had never even heard of before last night. Another guy who was not expected to go in the first round, and Columbus went way off the board with that pick and took Chinakov at 21 overall. At number 22, Washington traded up with the Calgary Flames, who traded back yet again to take Hendrix Lapierre, a center for the future. And this is a boom or bust pick for the Washington Capitals. Hendrix Lapierre is a top 10 talent, but had major injury issues, including 3 concussions in the past year and a half playing in juniors. So if this works out for Washington, Hendrix Lapierre could be one of the biggest steals of this draft, going at number 22. He could end up being a top 10 talent. If the injury issues and the concussion issues persist, however, that could be a big problem, and Lapierre could never really get his career on track if the injury issues continue to be a problem. So, boomer bust pick there for Washington at 22 with Hendrix Lapierre. At number 23, the Philadelphia Flyers take Tyson Forster, right winger who can score and get under your skin, plays a physical style of game. I think he's going to fit in with Philadelphia quite well. And, definitely will go along well with Travis Konechny in there with the Flyers organization. At 24, the Calgary Flames finally decided to pick somebody instead of trading back again, and they took center Connor Zary. I think that makes a lot of sense for them. Center is a position that they need help at. At number 25 overall, Colorado takes Justin Barron, defenseman. This was a great pick for the Avalanche. I think Barron could have gone higher, but obviously teams weren't looking for defensemen. Colorado adds him to their young defense core. I think he could end up playing alongside Cale Makar, and Barron is going to be a really, really good player, I think, in the future for Colorado. Not NHL ready yet, to say the least, but will be in the future. At number 26, the St. Louis Blues took left wing Jake Neighbors. This was a little bit of a surprising pick, but he models his game after Brady and Matthew Tkachuk. So obviously, if he turns out anything like a Tkachuk brother, Neighbors is going to be a great pick here at 26 for St. Louis. I think at worst, he's a third-line player, and still for the late first round, at least you get an NHLer out of it. I think that's a solid pick for the Blues. At number 27, the Anaheim Ducks picked again. Was originally Boston's pick, but they traded it to Anaheim, and Anaheim took Jacob Perreault, right winger, scorer. A lot of upside here, some consistency issues, which is why Perreault dropped in the draft. He was projected to go around number 20, number 21, somewhere around there. He dropped all the way to 27, I think because of those consistency issues. But if he can get scoring at the NHL level and playing with Trevor Zegras in Anaheim, I think he's going to. This could be a really good late round pick. At number 28, the Ottawa Senators picked again for the third time. This was originally the Islanders pick, but it ended up in Ottawa in the J.G. Pajot trade, and they took center Ridley Greig. So, solid pick here. Nothing too crazy. You decide to go with a center after going with Stützle, who probably plays wing, and a defenseman at 3 and number 5. Now they go center with Ridley Greig. At number 29, the Vegas Golden Knights took center Brendan Brisson, who will be playing at the University of Michigan in college before making the jump to the NHL. Good late round pick here. A lot of offensive upside with Brisson. Number 30, the Dallas Stars also took a center. They took Maverick Bourque out of the Quebec Major Junior League. Again, a guy who is kind of on that line of second round pick or first round pick. They go with him in the first round at number 30. And Dallas needed a center, so that's a good pick for them. And finally, at number 31, the San Jose Sharks took Ozzy Weissblatt, a right winger who I think it was a little surprising that he went in the first round. Most people had him as a second round pick, but San Jose likes what they see with Weissblatt, scoring winger, and someone good enough that they thought they could take with the last pick of the first round. So that is your recap of the first round of the 2020 NHL Draft. Again, there were a few off-the-board picks, a few surprises, but for the most part was a pretty tame first round. And pretty much, a lot of these picks were around where these guys were expected to go. So, second round through the rest of the draft, second round through seventh round, it's taking place today. And we'll see what happens with that. But as far as the first round goes, that is your draft and where these guys ended up. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, our donation link, merchandise store, and Patreon are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.